Hi, everybody. Welcome to Within the Frame. My name is Richard Fink. Janet's not here today, so I'm just flying solo. That's as in Han Solo, because we're talking Star Wars, y'all. I got my Chewbacca cup here, Galactic Empire hat, Star Wars shirt. Guys, the big Star Wars celebration in Orlando, Florida kicked off yesterday, and it is going strong today. We got the Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer along with a lot of details on the film. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about other trailers including Thor Ragnarok, Transformers The Last Night. We got casting news on Dumbledore, Cable. We got Goodbye Christopher Robin, review of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And guys, stay tuned for the end of the show where I've got filmmaker Douglas Proce here to talk about his documentary, Angels of Our Better Nature. You don't want to miss that, so stick around till the end. And you're going to stay watching now because you want to hear thoughts about Star Wars The Last Jedi. Guys, we got a trailer finally. We also got a brand new poster, and this poster, you can see right next to me, is awesome. I mean, wow. Just talk about, good homage to the 1977 original Star Wars poster. You have Rey using her lightsaber with blue and a lot of red, hinting at the balance between the light and the dark side. You have Luke Skywalker's face, Kylo Ren's face. So much going on in this poster, but what you guys want to hear are my thoughts on the trailer. Obviously, I'm excited. And what do I think of those cryptic last words? The Jedi must end. Well, I got to agree. The Jedi must end. They've been doing a pretty bad job of it ever since the original trilogy. We've pretty much known the Jedi failed as their job as guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic, and the prequel showed that. And if anything, with bringing balance to the Force has always been about bridging the divide between the Sith and the Jedi. You cannot be full if you're divided. So that, I think, is the main point of this movie, is that Luke has realized that the Jedi Order and the Sith are flawed, that you have to accept the light and the dark with it. A lot of details coming out of Star Wars Celebration. We got information on Rey's journey in this film, saying that when she meets Luke Skywalker, that he's not going to be exactly how she planned. So, will Luke have gone a little towards the dark side? Will just Luke not want to train her? So much to unpack with that. We got confirmation that we're going to get more action between Finn and Poe, played by John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, respectively. They're going to form more of a bond. And we definitely got information on the recently deceased Carrie Fisher's role as General Leia Organa. She will have a major role in this film, but sadly will not be featured in Episode 9, but that's respectable. She'll sadly be missed, but that's just the way it has to be. We also got information on the First Order's point in the movie. After the destruction of Starkiller Base, we know that the First Order was struck a blow, but now that they've destroyed the Republic, that means the galaxy is in disarray, which means they have the perfect opportunity to strike. A lot going on in this trailer, guys. You guys probably don't need me to link it for you because you guys have already watched it. It's been all over my Facebook, my Twitter, my YouTube. You guys have probably watched it 10 times like I have. It's awesome. I'm so excited. I even rented Rogue One again last night just to try to, I didn't really like Rogue One that much, but I tried to give it a second chance to get ready for today. And I just want to go home and watch Force Awakens and just rewatch all the Star Wars films I can. And Chewbacca mug, because my producer keeps telling me to show it. So, Star Wars, guys, comes out December 15th. We're all excited. We'll have a review for it, definitely. And we'll keep you up to date on any bit of information coming out of Star Wars Celebration. Let's move on to some other trailers, because we got a lot to get through today. Second one is also featuring John Boyega. This one is Detroit, directed by Academy Award winner Catherine Bigelow. And this deals with the 1967 Detroit riots. This trailer just kind of came out of nowhere. We weren't really expecting it. There wasn't like a big announcement for it. And wow, does it hit. Catherine Bigelow has always done, has really made a career for herself lately was, The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. And even back in her early days with like Point Break and After Dark, these very, grounded, real, gritty, like, I don't want to say action films, but really intense, like, adrenaline films. They really get you underneath your, like, core, and they really get you moving. And this one, what a topical film to be released now, with the divide going on in this country. So, trailer looks great. I'm excited for it. We'll have more information on that movie as it gets closer to release. It comes out this August. Really nice change of pace for the summer. It'll be a nice way to die down from the summer and go into the more adult award season. Next trailer we got is Transformers The Last Night. Trailer number 27, it feels like. I feel like I've covered so many of these Transformers trailers. And at this point, it is too little, too late. I'm sorry. Had this been the first trailer, I might have been a little bit more excited. But after being burned by 4 of these films, I just cannot get excited for this, trailer. Even with the presence of the Quintessons, who are the creators of the Transformers, And the idea of Optimus Prime going bad, still not enough. But, you never know. It took Fast and the Furious 5 films to become good, so maybe the fifth time's the charm. It shouldn't be, but maybe it is. So that's it for the Transformers. That comes out on June 23rd, 2017. And the last trailer we have is Thor Ragnarok. This was the trailer that broke on Monday and was pretty much dominating the discussion online until early today with the release of The Last Jedi. And this trailer pretty much just was like a mic drop. This is the best trailer Marvel's had since probably Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron's first trailer. Because this one it set a great tone. It looks fun, unlike any different other Thor movie. The first Thor film is very Shakespearean. Second one's very Game of Thronesian. That's not even a word, Thronesian, but it is now. This new one, though, is like Masters of the Universe, and like I swear to God, if I have to hear one more person say it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, just because it's got aliens and a rock and roll soundtrack, it's not like Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians has pop music, like 70s pop. This is Led Zeppelin. Totally different things. Learn your music genres, people. And I can't believe we're 3 Thor films in now, and we're just now getting Immigrant Song. I mean, the song features, Hammer of the Gods and Valhalla, and we're just now getting to that in the Thor movie. But anyway, trailer, love it. Taika Waititi, who did What We Do in the Shadows, is probably one of the funniest films of all time. And the very fact that Marvel just gave him $150 million to say make whatever you want with a Thor movie, and we're getting this crazy nonsense. And I say nonsense in a good way. We're getting classic Jack Kirby artwork inspired. Planet Hulk. That shot of Thor and Hulk in the Gladiator Arena was the stuff of dreams. And his reaction, too, when he's like, yes! It's so funny, and it's so Taika, which anyone who's seen What We Do in the Shadows or Hunt for the Wilder People or even Boy or Eagle vs. Shark, which I wasn't a big fan of, he's got a very distinct sense of humor. Cate Blanchett breaks the hammer, Thor's hammer, as she's playing Hela, the goddess of death. Furthers my theory that the hammer is the holder of the final Infinity Stone. You heard it here first, and you're going to keep hearing it till the movie comes out. So Thor Ragnarok opens on November 3rd. Easily my most anticipated Marvel film, topping Guardians and Spider-Man. And that's saying a lot, because I'm excited for those. So that's wrapping it up for trailers, guys. We're now going to move on into some casting announcements that broke over the week. A lot of big ones this week. And they were all in the span of one day also, because no studio could apparently let the other one have a day, or let the media have a day to relax. So the first one we got was Jude Law will be playing a young Albus Dumbledore in the sequel to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I myself was personally wanted Colin Firth, because I thought he would have been a great young Dumbledore, but who's upset with Jude Law? I mean, come on, it's Jude Law. Guys like perfection personified. Like, you do something, like, he's like the standard of reincarnation. If you do something good, you come back as Jude Law. And it's a wonderful idea. He's a great character actor. I don't think he gets enough credit as a character actor because he's so good looking. He's like Ewan McGregor, but he's now given the perfect chance to work alongside Johnny Depp. The idea of Johnny Depp and Jude Law sharing a scene is exciting on numerous levels, and I think we're all eagerly anticipating what a young Dumbledore will look like. Will he have the beard? We don't know. I hope he has got a beard, or at least like a little bit of stubble. So that's as far as we got for Fantastic Beasts. We'll get more casting announcements soon as the film is starting to rev up production. And should start filming around sometime later this year to meet their November 2018 release date. The next one that broke a few hours later was we finally have cast Cable in Deadpool 2 after going through numerous actors rumored for the role, including Michael Shannon, Kyle Chandler, Brad Pitt at one point even. We now have confirmation that it will be Josh Brolin, who currently is actually playing Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. Obviously, people know him from movies like No Country for Old Men, Hail Caesar. He was even in Jonah Hex, so he's worked for DC, Fox, and Marvel, because, I guess he's going to conquer all the comic book properties. And Dark Horse, even. He was in Sin City, too. Like I said, you all don't know, I'm not a big fan of Cable. I don't like the character. I think he's a dumb character. Deadpool was not a movie that I liked. I liked it, but I wasn't, in love with it like everyone else does. So I'm not overly excited for this. But, I mean, it's a good casting choice. And it does make me wonder how, I guess, Thanos doesn't have that big a role beyond Infinity War in the MCU. So, that's interesting. That's a weird thing to find out or to speculate on. Moving on to some more comic book news, because that's pretty much all we talk about here, and I know that's what a lot of people have a problem with, is Dolph Lundgren has joined the cast of Aquaman. Yeah, Dolph Lundgren's still a thing, guys. Dolph Lundgren will be playing King Nereus, the king of Zebul, and will be playing one of the villains of the movie. He already joins the long list of villains that include Black Manta and Ocean Master. And in the comics, King Zebul is infatuated with Mira, who will be played by Amber Heard. So we're starting to get an understanding of the plot, and I think uh, we're kind of piecing together. And I'm pretty sure they just cast him because they want to bill it as Ivan Drago versus Drago. Or no, it's Ivan Drago. That's his name in Rocky 4. That's the one he's in. And I'm pretty sure if he doesn't have the line "I'll drown you," I'm gonna be really pissed because everyone's gonna think that when they see Dolph Lundgren. Has he had other exciting role beyond Rocky 4? Let us know in the comment section because I think that's like his most iconic. So moving on. Last bit of news is the animated Spider-Man film that's going forward at Sony. They've cast the actor from Dope. Shamik will play Miles Morales. He'll be doing the voice of it, and Liev Schreiber will be playing the villain. We don't know who the villain is. Interesting casting choice. I was a little hesitant on an animated Spider-Man movie, but Lego Batman was cute, so you can obviously do two different things with a similar character. The next bit of news we have is the remake of Labyrinth, that Jim Henson movie from the 80s with David Bowie. Now, numerous trades have reported as a remake, as a sequel, as a spin-off. We don't know what it is, but I can tell you one thing. I think this is a bad idea on numerous accounts. One, we just lost David Bowie, and it feels a little disrespectful to try to go towards this film because he's the Goblin King. You can't replace him. It just like, does anybody want this movie? This isn't like a property that, when you say remake, everyone's going to get super excited for. More people are actually going to be a little offended that you're touching it. So I think this is a bad call on everyone's part. That having been said, if you do have to do a Labyrinth remake or sequel or anything, maybe do something interesting, like gender flip it. Have the Goblin King be a woman and have a young man in the Jennifer Connelly role. And might I suggest Lady Gaga for the Goblin King role? If you're listening, anybody? No one's listening. I wouldn't either. It's a terrible idea. Anyway, besides that, we're moving on to Goodbye Christopher Robin has a release date for this November. Goodbye Christopher Robin will be like the Finding Neverland story for the guy that wrote Winnie the Pooh. Anyone who knows me knows I love Winnie the Pooh, so I'm definitely excited for this. The film stars Domhnall Gleeson from Ex Machina and The Force Awakens, and Margot Robbie, who everybody knows from The Wolf of Wall Street and Suicide Squad. So we'll keep you up to date on that one. And the last bit of major news is the Cannes Film Festival lineup was revealed. The big thing to take away from this is that Nicole Kidman is featured in 4 films playing at the Cannes Film Festival. Playing in competition includes Sofia Coppola's The Beguiled and Killing of a Sacred Deer. And out of competition, she stars in How to Talk to Girls, and episodes of her show Top of the Lake will premiere in a special event at the Cannes Film Festival. So 4 major events will include Nicole Kidman. That's wonderful. Nicole Kidman's a great actress. She kind of disappeared for a little while, and then she kind of, I don't want to say comeback because she never really went away. She was never bad. She just sort of went away for a little while. But Lion, which got her an Academy Award nomination, and then these 4 films, which will certainly draw our attention, as well as joining the cast of, she'll be actually in Aquaman. She'll be playing Aquaman's mother, so Nicole Kidman, good to have you back. So that's it as far as news goes today, guys. We're going to get into our review of Mystery Science Theater 3000, The Return, which dropped on Netflix at midnight today. And I stayed up till about 2 in the morning watching the first episode, and I loved it. I grew up with the original Mystery Science Theater. I used to have a bunch of them on VHS, and I watched them. And the idea of doing a return, I never thought I'd see this. It was one of those things that was so of its time. The idea of doing it again just seemed like it was never going to happen. And I don't think I'll ever get used to other actors voicing Crow T. Robot and Tom Servo. Crow obviously had gone through another voice towards the middle of the 7th season. And that's one thing. But Tom Servo's voice has always been so distinct, so I'm still getting used to that. I don't think I ever will. They're still really funny, though. And my sides were so sore watching this. I love they kept the retro aesthetic. The first film they review is Reptilicus, and when you go over the list of films that they're reviewing for the season, man, it is so good to have them back. There's one nitpick I have with the show, though, is that a lot of the jokes are way too quick. There was a certain rhythm to the original show where they make a quip, they give you time to laugh, and you could, like, if a quip didn't land, obviously they'd have a little time, you'd hear a little bit of awkward silence, but then they'd go with another one. This one is so quick with the riffs that sometimes when you don't laugh at one, you don't the other one is like right behind it, or if you're laughing at one, you miss like 5 of them because they're just going so quick. So hopefully they kind of fix that in the later episodes because I kept having to like pause it to like rewind or hear other jokes. But other than that though, man, we live in a time where Mystery Science Theater 3000 is back. Oh, what a time to be alive. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for all that. Now, let's get to the main event. My guest today, he is the director of the documentary film Angels of Our Better Nature. I always want to say Angels for Our Better Nature, but it's Angels of Our Better Nature. The director here today, joining me, Douglas Proce. Douglas, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Douglas, can you tell us a little about the film, our audience?
Yeah, it's a 47-minute documentary film, really about how one person can make the difference in the lives of those less fortunate. The film primarily features John Linton, who's not only a friend of mine, but he also founded the I Have a Name project. That is an art for advocacy project that focuses on drawing attention to the homeless. John and I met almost 4 years ago, and we're both from Chicago, so we became very fast friends. Now we're like brothers. And he turned me onto his project. I really believed in him, what he was doing, and he needed some video work done, and so I've just been a strong supporter of that. In January of this year, I got asked to come to California with him and a lady who produced the film, Joy Saul, and we took a bus, the Let's Be Better Humans bus, which is for those of you who remember the Muppets, the Mayhem bus, it kind of looks like that, but it's very colorful. But we took that bus to California for a week and met some people out in LA and Venice Beach and Redondo Beach who also advocate for the homeless. One of those people was Elvis Summers, who's just a great young man, and what he does is he builds homes for the homeless, and he puts them on the street. They're literally 6 foot by 8 foot homes on wheels, and they have solar panel on them. They'll power 2 lights, and a homeless person can charge their cell phone. They have a locking door, windows, smoke detectors. They're clean, they're safe, and when he delivers them, he hands the key to a homeless person, and he's just a remarkable young man. One of the ladies we met on that week-long trip, excuse me, her name is Micah Both, and she runs an organization called Unfuck the World, and you can find that on Facebook and get all sorts of stickers and T-shirts, and I'm not wearing that T-shirt today. I wanted to, but she advocates for homeless teens primarily, but she doesn't turn anyone away, and she's a remarkable woman. And then one of the other people featured in the film, her name is Ari Beers, and Ari is a remarkable young lady. She teaches yoga, and she's very into the spiritual world. But what she does in her free time is feed the homeless on Venice Beach and Skid Row. And so what this film really is a story about how all these people in their own way, the word we use are kind of they're being heroes, everyday heroes, and just trying to make a difference in people's lives.
And can you ask us I wanted to ask you, like, how did you get the project? Because you said you were friends with the guy. What's his name? It's
John Linton.
John Linton.
Yeah.
And how long were you guys friends until he brought the project to you? Or how did the project land in your lap?
We've been probably friends a little over 3 years. It's got to be coming up to 4 years now. And I'd filmed a couple of outreaches for him. We worked on this project called The Garden, which is a mural that now sits on the west wall of the Menorcad Gallery on downtown Roosevelt, on 2nd and Roosevelt. I filmed the Kickstarter video for that, and then over the course of the year, raising funds. Brian Boner was the artist, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful mural, and it's a representation of Brian's youngest son Jasper pouring water, and the water droplets turn into black birds, and the wall is just covered with these black birds, and the blackbirds represent, people who have lost their lives on the streets of Phoenix, and it's just a very, very powerful piece of art. And it was during that time where I documented the whole process and shot a lot of time lapse of Brian doing his work, that this trip came up after John got this bus. And the bus is really remarkable. I wish I had a picture of it to show you. There might be a picture on the poster that we're going to show. To try and explain it doesn't do it justice. And John got this bus and had it painted, and it says "Let's Be Better Humans" on it. And it is just it draws people because the message is just so uplifting. And so he got an opportunity because of Joy Saul, who's been following his project for some time, to go to California. And they asked me if I'd come and document the trip. And of course, I said yes. I'm a firm supporter of John and what he's doing. And it turned out to be a great trip. It was a long week. We had a lot. It was nonstop from the time we got up to the time we got back to the hotel every night. But what ended up being was a 47-minute, what I think is a really great film. I'm very proud of it.
Nice. And you said it took you a week to film, and then how long was the post-production phase? Because I don't think a lot of people understand the long process of post-production for a documentary, because I think they assume just you shoot it and then it's just you put it all together. But there's a lot of process that goes into that.
Yeah, it can be a challenge when you've got 40, 50 gigs worth of footage and B-roll and stills and you're trying to put it all together to tell a compelling story. So it took me the better part of 3 months to get it where I wanted it, where I thought, okay, that's a film I'd want to see. And yeah, it's what it wound up being of almost 3 months.
And you said it's about 47 minutes, so can you tell us what took? Because you, when we were talking originally, you said it was originally going to just be a short, and then
that's what I was hoping for. I know, I've done a handful of short documentary films on a myriad of different social causes, and they're usually in the 15 to 25 minute range, usually. And so that's what I was hoping for. And as I started editing and using John's interview as kind of the central interview throughout the whole piece, because it just fit perfectly, I came into that 20-minute mark and I still had a bunch of footage left, and I started realizing that, oh wow, I've got a longer film here. And I didn't really try to force it to a certain length. I kind of let the film, as I'm editing, tell me how long it needs to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when I got about 45, 46 minutes, I knew, okay, I had a film, and then put the credit roll in, then got the credit roll. So.
That took you over the little bit to become officially
Well, I
considered a
think
feature?
even if I took the credit roll out, I'd still have over 45 minutes. And in some festivals, 45 minutes is considered a feature.
Nice. And can you tell us about, because you have the premiere coming up soon, can you tell us where it's going to be at?
Yeah. The premiere's April 30th at DeSoto Central Market on Central and Roosevelt in the Arts District in Phoenix. DeSoto Central Market's a wonderful place. I have a great friendship and working relationship with Sean Connolly, the owner, Dinah Sauer, the marketing manager, the management, all the staff there. I've shot a couple of different art/concept films there over the years. Had an event there in December of 2015 that was very successful. So we've had just this great friendship, and they've been very, very good to me. And it is a free event. It's all ages, very family friendly. We already have some guest speakers lined up. Of course, John will talk about his project in the film. We have Chris Hooley from Rekindle, who also advocates for the homeless. We might have Ari Beers coming. We might have Elvis and Micah both coming as well from California. Of course, I'll talk about the film and then intro the film. And it's going to be a really great night. And our hope is that through the people talking, the people featured in the film, and the film, the goal is to inspire people to take action with whatever it is they're passionate about, whether it be homeless or animals or the environment, whatever it is, just take action, do something.
To be better humans.
Yeah, exactly.
So guys, go check that out on April 30th. Now I want to talk about, transition a little bit from this project to just Douglas the filmmaker.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about you and like sort of, talk about other projects you've done, your inspirations. What got you started in this? Like, what got you just started making films?
Well, I've always been a creative. I used to play music, and I've written. I fell into filmmaking late in life, in my mid-40s, and I just took to it. I always loved documentaries, so that's what I naturally gravitated towards, and that's probably what I would guess I'm known as in the film community, as a documentary filmmaker. But I've never let that stop me from doing art films and concept films and music videos, and really just kind of doing whatever it is I want to shoot. And I love running that camera, and my primary focus is using the power of that camera to move people on one social cause or another. My friend JJ calls me an activist, and that's a label I wear rather proudly, and I use that camera to try and raise awareness, and just not trying to change the world, just trying to change one person at a time. So
it's a mighty tool, like they say. The pen is
it can
mighty.
Be, yeah.
Pen is mightier than the sword, so the camera,
Yeah. It's a very democratic, accessible thing, film.
Are there any particular subjects you go towards with documentaries, or? Do you just
Well, my personal passion is child welfare, in particular children in foster care. I grew up an orphan in Illinois, and so it's a subject very personal for me. And I've been working for the last 3 years with people in both the nonprofit and the state sector on building a film here about the 18,000 plus kids that are in foster care, over 600,000 nationwide. And it's a story very, that people don't really know. And that one, because it's a very personal thing, it's taken me quite a bit to make sure that it's right. I really want to showcase the hard work the people are doing and to make sure that these kids have a loving home and a warm bed and feel safe and whatever traumas they've gone through that they're being taken care of.
Yeah, it's on a very noble cause, and I hope that's a film that we get to see soon because that's a very important one. Can I ask you a bit about like what is some advice you would give to a young filmmaker who's like coming up, or what advice would you give them?
Well, I guess the best piece of advice would be to shoot what you want to shoot and don't worry about what other people tell you or advice. You know, everybody's got whatever it is they're passionate about, whether it be horror or narratives, or for me it's documentaries or art films. The advice I give is shoot the film you want to see. Create the film that you want to see, and just love what you do. Always run the camera. If you're an editor, always be editing. Don't settle for just being good at what you love to do. Strive to be great.
That's very great advice. And a few other questions before we have to wrap up, because I can see my producer giving me the eye. What is it about a documentary? Because obviously, is it you're filming it, you're essentially writing it also, and you're editing it. From what I understand, which of those is your favorite part of the process?
I think I don't know if I have. I guess probably editing would probably be my favorite. Although I love cinematography, but editing is really where the story comes together, and I love doing both. I have many cinematographer friends that hate editing, and I always try to encourage them to do that because hey, you're shooting the film. It's your film. If you're a director, learn how to edit. So it can be a very tedious thing to take 60 gigs worth of footage and sit at a laptop or a desktop for 3 months, 10 hours a day, or whenever you can squeeze it in and try to build a story out of that. It can be very tedious. Yeah. But when it's done, and you see the final result and someone's watching your film, and I usually don't watch the film. I watch what people's reactions are going to be. And when you could see them being moved, you've kind of hit a home run with it. You're influencing that one person.
Nice. And one last question, because this is actually two last questions. First one's a serious one. Second one will be a joke one, so don't worry about that one.
No worries.
First one is, who do you have to show your documentary to when you get a first minute, or do you have people that you like to show it to, kind of gauge, not show a final cut, but an idea of, hey, this is where it's going. Any suggestions?
Yeah, I reached out to several people. My friend Kevin Kittle, Wayne Michael Reich, Aaron Kess. My girlfriend was really the first person to see the final film. She's my girlfriend, so she
kind of has to see it.
Yeah, she's been very supportive, and I'm very lucky to have her. But she loved it, and of course, my first question is, "You're not saying that because you're my girlfriend, right?" She's like, "No, it's great." So that was really nice. And I just sent it to, a couple people. I sent it here, and the trailer and some of the rough edits, just to kind of get some feedback, and the feedback's been overwhelming, really, really positive. I'm really very proud of it, and I've got a lot of faith that the film will go beyond just the screening, and you might see it on Netflix or Amazon, and that's the goal with the film.
Hopefully we will. Now the joke question is, you're from Chicago.
I am.
So we have to ask, because Cubs or White Sox?
Well, since I grew up kind of in a foster care situation, I moved around a lot, so I like, my Chicago friends are going to say this is sacrilege, but I grew up loving them both, because we had an American League team and a National League team, but I'd have to probably lean towards the Cubbies, and I'm not just saying that because they won the World Series last year. I did grow up, in the old Comiskey Park, and I had my first beer at Wrigley Field, and I try to tell people who aren't really sports people or baseball people that, watching a baseball game at Wrigley Field is just something unlike you'd ever see. It's just a really different ballpark. It's a good time.
Oh, yeah. I'd say, we're saying you were like Cubs and a White Sox. That's like being a Jedi and a Sith right there.
Yeah, it's like liking deep dish pizza and thin crust.
That's not even up for debate. That's deep dish all the way. I'm sorry to any new people from New York watching, but it's deep dish. You're just wrong if you say otherwise. Well, Douglas, thank you for being on the show. It was an honor to have you. Douglas, where can they find you at? Where can they get a hold of you?
They can go to my website, douglasproce.com. There's links to my Facebook page, my YouTube channel. And, of course, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see the event link for the screening at April 30th at DeSoto Central Market.
April 30th.
And it is free, family friendly.
April 30th, DeSoto Central Market. Guys, be there. You've got nothing better to do, and I know you don't, because it's April 30th. This is the only event happening then. So, guys, check it out. And, again, thank you all for watching. Not sure which one's my camera or if we're on any cameras still. I don't know if I'm looking at this one or this one. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great Easter weekend.
Everybody.
And again, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RLFake94. And guys, like I said, have a great Easter. Thank you for Doug for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
And we will see you guys all next week. Thank you for staying within the frame. Goodbye.